welcome to Chasing the Sun with, afternoon or evening, shall we say. Been trying to get you on for a while. You're a busy bee. You've been jet setting around the world with Noel G. But you also got your own band, and I hear you're from Camden Town.
I'm from Camden. I lived there for 32 years.
Oh wow.
In the same flat.
Wow, where?
Yeah.
Not Albert Street where Noel was?
No, not that far though.
Oh really?
Just near the Hawley Arms pub.
Oh.
Just a place called Castlehaven Road.
Oh, I know Castlehaven, yeah. I used to go to the youth club there.
Did you?
Yeah.
What, the one on the corner with
the... underneath the bridge where the basketball pitch is.
Yeah, right, so you know the flats just there, opposite.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Well, I was up in Carroll Close. So I was up in on Highgate Road.
Yeah.
So Kentish Town. So, and so you grew up in Camden, and you're in a band with your.
With my husband.
With your lovely husband, Gav.
Yeah.
Never seen a more good-looking
couple. He is a very good-looking.
When I came to see you at Sofa Sounds, I was like, holy shit! How good-looking they are. They're gonna have beautiful children. Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie.
No problem. But yeah, so I guess we should start from the beginning. Chasing the Sun, I'm not sure if you're aware, so I share my personal journey. So Chasing the Sun for me is escaping a 9 to 5. So it's about, at the moment I'm kind of building a personal brand and trying to create assets and make money outside of traditional employment to the point that I'm self-sufficient and I can jack in the job essentially. Nice. This is a big part of it. I've documented my weight loss, and we were just talking about mental health off camera. There's been going through a breakup right now, so there's been parts of that. And the point of having guests like yourselves on, you've been really lucky enough to be able to forge a career from your passion, which is music, of course. Yeah. Of course, now you're in Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. However, you've got your own band, the Kondoors. Where did it all start for you? I guess you both with music.
Yeah, it started basically from my upbringing. My dad's a musician. So music was always in the house. Yeah. Couldn't escape it really. When I was really little, my dad taught me a bit of guitar. I had piano lessons, and I think even if for a while I would have said, "Oh, I don't want to do music." Yeah. I think it would have always come back. Yeah. It was just always around, and I didn't actually start singing till I was 15.
Oh wow! So quite late on.
Yeah, it's quite late, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And
you've got a fantastic voice, really powerful. In fact, we were watching some stuff before you arrived, and they really complement each other well.
Thanks.
Yeah. How come you didn't start singing till so late in the day? Well, say late in the day.
Talking about mental health issues. Yeah. I used to get bullied a lot when I was little. Oh wow. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Primary school, I got bullied quite a bit. I was born really premature, and I had lots of kind of developmental issues. So. Thankfully I didn't have disabilities. Yeah. Quite a lot of other premature babies can be born with. But things like coordination problems, stuff that kids, if they see that you can't catch a ball, they're on you. Stuff like that. Yeah. So that affected me for a long time. And then when I started secondary school, there was a little bit of bullying. Yeah. I think. Maybe I was a bit gobby or something, but kids were just like, "Who is this?" Yeah. And then I went on a family holiday. My dad was playing guitar, and I started singing something. There was this jazz standard called "Cry Me a River," and I started singing it. And my mum and dad said, "Oh my God, you've really got something." And then I remember I went to boarding school, and I went back to school, and my friend said, "Oh my God, Jess." I went back to school and I said, "Guess what? I discovered I could sing over the summer holidays."
Wow.
As you do.
Yeah. And they said, "Oh my God, you've got to audition for the school concert." So I did, and I got the gig. Yeah. And then that went on for about 4 years until I left. Yeah. And then I was kind of known as the singer of the school.
Oh wow.
And what that did, which I think has carried me to this point, it gave me this sense of, I guess, power, because I was like, do you know what? Fuck all you bullies. Yeah. Well, I know it's so cliche, but it gave me a voice. It gave me something to think, I'm good at something. Yeah. And I can do it, and it's really sad, but people like me because I'm singing. Yeah. And it's, you know, as embarrassing as that is to admit,
It's tough bringing what upbringing.
it's tough.
Yeah.
It gave me something to think,
Yeah.
I'm strong.
It's no different to a footballer or something like that.
No, it made me feel strong.
Yeah.
It made me feel strong.
And it's something that came naturally to you.
It came really naturally.
Yeah,
It came really naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your whole family's musical.
Yeah, we're all musical, so it felt like a kind of warm hug.
Yeah, and who
But
were
I
your
could-
musical influences back then?
Well, I remember when I started school, my dad gave me these CDs to listen to. So he gave me the Pretenders album, which had like Brass in Pocket and Don't Get Me Wrong and those kind of tunes. And then he gave me like the 100 greatest rock songs of all time, the 100 greatest ballads of all time. So it was literally a broad spectrum of all kinds of different styles of music.
Wow.
So rock, pop. My mum was into classical music.
Yeah.
I literally listened to everything. I was like a sponge. And my dad had this Latin band, a bit like Santana, but more instrumental. So I grew up with a lot of Latin music.
Wow.
So it's literally a smorgasbord. of
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
But I loved, you know, soul and you know, Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, Dusty, a lot of the Stax stuff, Otis Redding and Tina Turner and loads of stuff. And then I liked more of the rock stuff. You know, I remember loving Aerosmith. I loved Steve Tyler's voice.
Wow.
I loved. I mean, you were into bands like. What was that band you went to see with Nick?
Oh,
When
Pearl
you-
Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
Eddie
just listening to
Vedder.
Pearl Jam
I-
today. Eddie Vedder's boy.
Man, have you seen?
Yeah,
Man, his
honestly.
career is awesome. I don't know if you know of his other stuff, but he's like it's scores. He's written scores for films and
Do you
all
know
sorts
what?
of
I was
stuff, man.
completely
He's
unaware
done
of him.
Indian music
Yeah.
as well.
I was
It's like,
completely
man,
unaware of him, and I
he's
met a
amazing.
girl who
I-
showed me the MTV Unplugged sessions, and I cried when I
Yeah.
heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I cried.
Got
Yeah.
some serious tunes.
Yeah.
man.
How did you get
Outside
involved
of
in
Pearl
music?
Jam.
Were you like young as well when you?
Yeah, kind of, man. I mean, I was just up for a lust for life, mate. I was just I got into a lot of naughty things at very early ages and just kind of
Misspent
ended up
youth.
off the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Really?
ended up moving around all over the place. A lot of drugs in different ways, and then someone paid me to take drugs and sing, and you know what I mean. So it's like it kind of just blurred into the same thing in the end, and it was like, shit, man. Now someone's giving me money to do this.
Wow.
It's like, all
Living
right,
the dream.
you know. And then so I kind of went through that way, through pubs and just doing diving
Did you?
little pubs, you know.
Yeah,
like back,
cover
in, back in the
stuff
days
and
when
all
people
that,
were throwing beers
That's how we
everywhere
met,
and like,
actually.
Oh, on the cover
Oh,
set.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah. It was just crazy back in the day, man. 'Cause we, like soggy old pubs, man. like they used to be, you know. Like, yeah. It was like rad, like just mental, you know, like skinheads around and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
is that how you guys met then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you in separate bands or
Yeah,
separate
we did
artists?
all
or?
kinds of different covers bands.
Oh, really?
That's how we started because we had no money.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
no money whatsoever, so it was like, oh, let's put a Joey together and go out and start earning some cash.
It's
Yeah.
a good way to earn money
Yeah.
if you're in music.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. Man, if you
That's
want an
what we do.
upbringing, you know, in music and knowledge and
also
being able
performing to different
take
crowds.
It, man.
Well, as
Yeah,
in
I
terms of,
bet.
like an
Endurance.
education.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an endurance. It's endurance.
Really?
So we at one point we were doing like 4 or 5 gigs a week,
Mhm.
singing 2 hours a night,
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
just
Sometimes.
constant like.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4 hours.
So
or
we
something.
did a 4-hour gig once.
Yeah.
Literally.
Wasn't the Keys by any chance?
There's
was
no
it?
money.
Because they have bands on that go on
Yeah.
forever, and I think
Yeah.
where did the energy come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we've, you know, and like driving at 1 o'clock in the morning home, knackered, you're physically exhausted because you haven't stopped singing. We've done the
And the
shittiest
money
gigs.
was
We've done amazing gigs. The money was shit.
Money was shit.
The money was
You
shit.
have to do what you have to do, though.
But that's what we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
That's
It's
what
better
we
than,
did.
but you chose, and it's quite interesting
We
what
put
you
the
said
hours
about,
in.
what you said about being brought up with me, and that seems to be a recurring thing throughout the series. Is that, you know, my last guest was a business owner. His parents were business owners, and it's like your parents were musicians,
Yeah.
so it's something that comes very
Yeah,
naturally.
yeah.
Did you ever have any like normal jobs? Or
Yeah. I did. Well, my first job, I worked at McDonald's in Kentish Town.
Oh, amazing.
Do you know the one?
Yeah, of course. I
I
spent,
worked there- I
spent
worked-
most of my childhood in there. 288.
I met you.
Best 288 you could spend back in the day. Had all the toys.
All the toys.
All the toys.
From the Happy Meal.
Yeah. Remember
That's amazing.
the grimace and the hamburger.
Oh, yeah.
What's happened to Ronald McDonald? Brown bread in
Yeah,
it.
he's gone.
The biggest
Creepy
joke.
now.
Probably
isn't it?
outsteered
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've seen some of those dodgy adverts back in the day. It's like, oh,
That's
so
so
how'd you get away with that, mate? That's straight out wrong.
Yeah.
So that was my first job, and then I worked in retail.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was about 18, I got a job in Offspring in Camden High Street.
Oh really?
And Noel came in,
Oh,
and I sold him a
amazing.
pair of shoes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah,
That was very weird.
and apparently Gem used to be the sound man at the Bull and Gate.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Did he?
yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is, and there is like you got the Boston Arms,
Yeah.
you've got like the Dublin Castle, Camden
that's
and
cool.
Kentish Town is really
Fiddler's
eclectic
Fiddler's
for
Elbow? That's another
Fiddler's
one.
Elbow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's still there, the Fiddler's
Yeah,
Elbow.
it's still there.
But there was also it's not the spread eagle. There was another one, the falcon. I knew it was a bird of prey.
Yeah, the falcon.
Yeah, and I did that. I was in a band when I was younger, and
Oh, really?
yeah. I was the bass player, of course, being
didn't know
the
that.
lump. But you know, and I was always into like songwriting and stuff. And this is something that, because I came to see you guys at Sofa Sounds,
Oh yeah.
and there was one of your songs that really kind of hit me there, and I was just, and because it's sung by you two, and you kind of bring it to life.
Yeah. That's nice.
And because I remember you said like just before you performed it, and you kind of gave it. This is what we were going through at the time.
That's forgiveness, is it?
Yeah.
What you're talking about? I've read up on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
But you didn't sort of shy away from the reasons for writing the song. Quite honest about like
No,
the
man, that's what
inspiration.
it's kind of what we're all about. It's just putting it on the line, really, and being real.
Yeah.
Can't say no fairer than that,
Not
you know.
creating illusions, just
And
saying
also
what it is, because it's not straightforward.
It
Relationship ain't straightforward, man. You
No.
gotta work hard at it and
Yeah.
to get through it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
No. I was just going to say that if you're really open about it, it means that people can connect to it even more.
Yeah.
'Cause I was in that
Yeah, I
situation.
hope so. You know.
Yeah.
Hopefully-
That's
hopefully
really
we
nice
do.
to hear.
Mm.
You know, we've got this other song called Glorious, and it's about. I wrote it with my friend about Gavin and his ups and downs with depression and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it's really hard to sing,
Yeah.
but it's empowering as well.
Emotionally, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vulnerability is
Yeah.
a superpower, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Especially like we were saying
Yeah.
about men finding, there's this whole thing about men shouldn't be able
We
to.
talk about
Well, it doesn't
it's like
demasculate you. does it?
Emasculate, yeah.
Emasculate, yeah, it's alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
The male ego is the centre of the world's ills.
It can
Yeah.
destroy you, man.
Yeah.
It can destroy
Like
you.
the
like
reason why
holding
we're
on
at
to it.
war, greed, corruption, it's
definitely.
male
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah.
You know, it's not women that are fucking up the planet,
No,
most
no.
certainly.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's tough to get rid of that kind of
Stigma.
feeling. That it's alright to talk about it. It's
I
okay
feel
to be in touch with it.
Like if you look at the generation that came before us, it was just a no-no. Like it wouldn't even
Yeah.
have been discussed. But now
No.
we're getting somewhere.
And why would
Hopefully
they?
further
They
down
don't
the
know
line.
anything. Yeah.
Well, they didn't, did they?
No, of
Ignorance is
course.
bliss, I suppose, to a
Yeah.
certain extent. But
Yeah.
then I'm sure a lot more people were suffering back then than are now. I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to have an open conversation.
Well, I
haven't
was
you?
saying to Jess earlier, it's about Harry the Hatchet. You know, he's like OCD and he's like dealing with loads of stuff that no one knew about. And there's a documentary about him. You know, and his sons now do therapy and kind of
Wow.
go into it and how the
Really?
world has moved on. But he was like a hardcore gangster. You know,
Yeah.
he was like the real gangster guy, real tough man.
Was he
But
from
really,
around
he was
here?
like emotionally unstable in a kind of medical way,
Mhm.
mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I can't remember where he was from around.
Yeah.
It was like Bethnal Green or something like that.
Right.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And you know, but he couldn't talk about that. He couldn't even address it. He couldn't even see it as a problem.
Mm.
You know.
This is the issue, I suppose.
Harry
isn't
Hatchet,
it?
you know what I mean? This guy goes around knocking skulls, mate.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And that takes its toll on
Yeah.
your soul. Do you know what I mean?
Got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
you
got to
were,
affect you.
yeah. So you guys got together as a cover band initially. Is this where the romance blossomed?
Yeah, it was.
And then
Actually, we met because there was this other band and they needed a female singer just to do a couple of gigs.
Oh, okay.
And Gavin was singing in that, and then we chatted on the phone, and I was like, oh, he's got a really sexy voice.
Yeah.
Just put my sexy voice on.
Yeah, you did.
Anymore.
Look, I know, yeah, it was put on.
Yeah.
It was put on.
Yeah.
Hello. And then we met at High Barnet tube station, and the rest is
Oh,
history.
Amazing.
But, yeah, and I watched
Not
a
very
little.
romantic, really.
No, it wasn't. And then he took me to a greasy spoon.
Yeah.
They're keeping it real from the start.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
But I watched this 10 seconds or something of this lecture that Ed Sheeran was giving at this uni, and he was talking about 10,000 hours
Yeah,
worth of
putting a graft.
putting a graft in. And even though we weren't writing our own tunes back then, that was years ago, and we have had all that time to sing together and get to know each other's voices and get to know each other and really feel it. And that's why it probably sounds so in sync, because we've had so many hours doing it.
And that's been a big message of mine, is just to get people to start. So many people are scared. You know, everyone can do a podcast or anyone can write a book, and we're kind of conditioned throughout the school system to become employees, and hence why I find it so endearing when, you know, you get musicians or business owners that do something outside of this, work for 40 years, 40 hours a week for 40 years, and then enjoy your life later on, where life is for living now, do you know what I mean?
Definitely,
hence why, you know, entrepreneurship is a big buzzword on the internet. But
boys, the doors are open.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, utilise it while they're there.
Yeah, and we've got the internet, social media, and you can, you know, and that's what I really enjoy about following you, Jess, is that you're probably the most active on social media out of, you know, the band. So it's really, it gives you kind of behind the scenes, you know, because you can you know, I know Shaz does all of like the professional photography, and you can see all like the glossy stuff, and then, you know, we tune into you to get the kind of behind the scenes. And
I like it, and I feel like, and maybe it's a generational thing, but you know, for example, Chris isn't on Chris Sharrock's not on Instagram, Gem's not on Instagram, Noel never goes on it.
No.
And then from that other, the next generation to me, the slightly old school, and I just think there's so much to be seen, and there's so much people can like learn from it, and and like giving a voice to the guy who does the monitors, to the guy who does the lighting, and I just think these guys work tirelessly, day after day after day, and people need to know who they are. I just think that's really
it's amazing. It's great that you give them scope. Flippantly, I really enjoy all of the vegan delights that you from around them, because you know, some say South America, for example.
Oh well, that was
a challenge, right?
Very big challenge.
Because
although Brazil, the catering was excellent.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's really good. But that was quite hard.
Wow.
Russia was very hard.
Yeah.
America's easy.
Yeah.
And Australia, obviously, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh.
But,
are you a vegan, Gav?
Yes, mate.
Oh, you really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't go back, but I think the fact that we both do it makes life much easier.
It's got to be easier, if you can't eat for the pair.
Yeah, if you were eating steak and I was like, with the salad.
Yeah, it makes life easier.
What was, is that a conscious decision you both made together, or was it like a something vegan and vegan? Is it vegan? What is it in January?
Oh,
where they go,
Veganuary.
Did you do it like one January and then just continue to do it?
No.
Like, how did that come about?
Well, ever since I was really small, maybe 4 or 5, I never ate red meat.
Oh really? Didn't like the texture?
I think my mum said we were in a butcher's or something, and there was some horrible thing. So I didn't have that problem of having to cut out steak or bacon or anything like that, but I used to eat chicken and fish. One day I was tucking into some chicken, and I was like, this tastes like flesh. I was like, ugh. And it was really weird. It was like a random freak thing that just popped into my head.
Definitely weren't in KFC, because that tastes like gold. Do you not miss KFC?
No.
No.
But they do vegan burgers.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I saw. I was in Dover today, and they are in the front of Burger King was a halloumi burger.
Oh, I've
so the
seen
world
those
is
stuff.
changing.
It's definitely changing.
It's definitely evolving.
And I also noticed how the world is changing. All of these corporations are now supporting Pride. And it's just such a fantastic thing now, you know, and we are moving on with the mental health, with veganism, and you know, being a lot more conscious. And that's,
oh man, we've got to wake up. Everyone's got to wake up. But to be honest, we're fucked. If we don't wake up, we're fucked.
Yeah, and this is it. And this is like part of my kind of mission, is to bring self-awareness to more people, because a lot of us are, you know, stuck in the past of subscribing to society's views and it's, you know, society's views is just a collective consciousness, and we really need to start raising it, you know, with stuff, making more conscious choices about, you know, veganism, or, you know, saving the planet, and you know, recycling.
In terms of like you saying that people like are breaking out of the 9 to 5 and all the rest of it, and you were saying that you wasn't even aware that you could sing up until the age of 15. Music's such an objective thing. How do you, when do you sort of gather up the belief that you are good enough to. So you say good enough. It doesn't work like that because obviously there's no such thing as good or bad in terms of music. But when do you sort of pick up the self-belief to go? Do you know what? I can do this. I would be willing to try this.
Yeah, I think it was when I did that school concert and I felt this reaction from everyone. I was like,
That was enough.
Wow.
Plugged you in.
Yeah, I was like, that's it.
Yeah, you kind of felt something you never felt before. It was just like this.
Yeah.
You found your gift.
In a way, it kind of, well, it sounds like the most shittest thing to say, but it kind of saved me because I felt like this has given me some armour against a lot of the shit that I've been going through.
And that's amazing because not a lot of people know what their thing is, where passion or.
I was really lucky.
Yeah, and you have this epiphany of, oh my God, you know.
Yeah, and I think that combined with the fact that I've been brought up by my dad who's a musician, my mum's a writer, so I felt like that, you know, they didn't really have much money, but what they did teach me was you can actually persevere on a job that is your passion.
That's the thing, that's a big word, man.
Yeah.
You need to be ready to persevere, you need to be ready to push and give it everything you got.
Yeah.
If you ain't got that, then you might as well just do 9 to 5 and sit with your
and I bet
believe me, if they said to me, Jess, you're a great singer, but you've got to go and be an accountant.
Yeah.
There's no other way. Like you have to get a proper job.
Yeah.
That I think would have probably given me the doubt, and maybe I wouldn't have had that the sort of extra drive.
So much family expectation, society expectation cripples people.
It's huge.
You know, and it's like
that,
you know,
literally that small of margin
you know, like,
of error. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A comment or
Yeah,
like, just
yeah,
a
It's like, and there's some cultures that are really, you know, fearful of, you know, like the Indian culture, for example. It's like doctors or lawyers, and you know. And you know and there's probably loads of doctors and lawyers thinking I really want to be a singer, for example, and because they've just been crippled by the constant of their parents of like you can't let the family down and have to be married by a certain age and it really must just because you know who you are at the end of the day, and like for you to kind of subscribe somebody else, it must just be such an internal conflict.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you, Gav? Did you struggle like in terms of wanting to be a performer, or you just knew that you wanted to, that music was it for you?
You've got the look, Gav, man. You just look like you're like
That's very kind of you, mate.
Depp / kind of you just look like a rock star.
I just man, I don't know, mate, I was up for the buzz, man. I was just up for life, mate. I was just like, life, where's life?
Yeah.
You know, I'll go where life is. If something going on over there, I'll go there.
How much in terms of music though? Where did you learn? How did you get started in it?
Just on the road, man.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
What do you mean?
When you were little, you used to sing and like just never stop talking and constantly
It was
putting on
MJ,
shows.
wasn't it? Everyone starts with MJ.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, I had no intention of doing any of that. I mean, I don't know what
You wanted to do acting when you were really little.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I just remember watching Smokey and the Bandit, and like, and then you see like the end, always had the end bits where they do all the joking around, and everyone was having a laugh. It's like they're having a laugh, enjoying life. I want to do that. Wherever the fun is, I want to go there. You know, I want to enjoy.
Also, you were blessed because your mum and dad were cool with whatever you wanted to do. So they didn't have that. You need to go and do this.
Yeah, they were
really
free.
accepting.
Free, but they worked hard.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, they were real grafters.
Mum had like 3 4 jobs at one point.
Really?
Dad was out working all night, you know.
Yeah.
He just did whatever it took.
To do it, and I think they were just happy that we were kind of off they just wanted us to be happy, whatever it was.
That's nice though, isn't it?
How long has the Kondoors been established? So
I mean, we probably started doing our original stuff maybe 8 years ago.
yeah, under the guys
Yeah,
Kondoors.
under the Kondoors,
yeah.
Actually, no, it was mine at Greenfield and Conder first.
Oh, okay.
And then we changed it.
Yeah.
But it...
Is that when you married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't take my name.
No, I
said,
didn't.
I won't take it.
No.
Which is cool. It doesn't bother me anyway.
Are you
She said,
sure?
well,
It sounded a
put
little
it
bit of resentment there.
Well, I'm not at all. No. So we he just said, well, we'll just put it as the name. And it was easier for links as well. Because every time we did a gig, everyone would be like, what?
Yeah.
Greenfield and
It's a cool name as well, man. I really enjoy your content.
It's kind of fitted in, though.
Yeah.
Kind of fitted in, part of the High Flying Birds.
Yeah, I know.
It does.
Seems like there's a path going on, man.
Yeah.
On its own, try and do things. It
Yeah.
just seems like the path's taking itself.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think you can constantly bang your head against the wall.
Yeah.
And like, why isn't it happening? And what, we're working so hard. But you've just got to let go of that and just trust
And I've tried to do things and push things in certain directions, and then, you know, you get let down and you feel crap, and then just get to a point and you think, man, I'm just going to open myself up to what comes. And be free,
you do. You have to trust the process.
You have to trust.
Yeah. And it is. It's like what you were saying about the 10,000 hours thing. It is about being in the right place at the right time as many times as possible.
Opportunity,
and it is,
basically.
you know, and you like Sofa Sounds and all of the other gigs that you do.
Yeah.
You know, and the gig tonight at the Grab Show.
Yeah.
You know, and even, you know, you said before this interview that you met Alan McGee as well. You know, so it's like, you know, and I guess being in that circle already, you know, and kind of being renowned as a high-flying bird. Talking of which, how did you come to, you know, land in Noel's band?
Yeah, well, yet again, if I think back to how it's all come about, it started really from doing all the corporate gigs, the covers gigs. Because
really?
What happened was, I'd done them for so many years. I knew so many musicians. We both know so many musicians.
About being in that
It's
network.
a huge network, man.
And you know, basically the great musicians that do those function gigs, the covers gigs, also play with some of the biggest artists.
Yep.
But when they're not on tour, you've got to earn money.
Yeah.
So people are constantly working, incredible musicians, and you know, we've been doing it so long, so your name gets bandied about.
Yeah.
People hear who you are, what you're doing, and blah blah blah. And I started singing with a guy called John Ilsley, who's the bass player in Dire Straits.
Oh wow.
So I got that gig through a covers band, and I was singing with this guy Nick. Nick knew this girl Anna, who I wrote Forgiveness and Glorious with. She knew this manager who knew John.
Yeah.
So he heard about that, so I got this gig. And then I was touring with, in the band was a guy called Robbie McIntosh, who's an amazing guitarist, he used to be in the Pretenders.
Wow.
Like randomly, there I was, like, you know, I've been singing at weddings and now I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Pretenders, and then he also was in Paul McCartney's band for a while, and Nora Jones's band for a while.
Oh, amazing.
Incredible
It's a
guitarist.
real deal, man. If you don't know of him, check him out.
Check him out, Robbie
Playing's
McIntosh.
amazing.
Yeah,
Sounds
will do.
Yeah.
amazing.
And then this guy Paul Stacey. And Paul was keyboard player. Was a keyboard player in Oasis, but he's also an absolute just genius on guitar.
Yeah.
So we'd worked together for about a year. Got really close, and not in that way, but you know.
You sure, Gav? You check
Never
this one
know,
out?
mate. I'll tell you never know.
Oh, I know.
You just don't know what goes on when people are on tour, man.
Right, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, Paul.
Why not?
Anyway, so Paul and I became really good friends, and then we were rehearsing one day at John's house, and we were just having a cup of tea, and Paul said, "Don't say anything," but I was chatting to Noel the other day, and he was saying that he's looking for a singer that plays keys. Would you be up for that gig? I was like, what? He said, well, I mentioned you already, so if you're up for it, then I'll just email you.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. So before the break, we were talking about how Jess we came round to landing the Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds gig.
Yeah.
So it was Paul Stacey that had kind of said, you know, I've already been
recommended me, basically, and that was amazing because they're really close, him and Noel, and he really respects Paul's judgment.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff with him throughout.
Loads.
If you look at the back of most of the albums,
he's
he's
done so
you know
much.
always
Even with
been
the
an
High-Flying
engineer.
Bird stuff,
And he famously plays the difficult lead on Stop the Clocks, which is kind of out there. Yeah.
He's a genius.
Mm.
Him and his brother.
Yeah,
they're both. Yeah, they're up
and it was
there,
the brother that was the drummer,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
in the High-Flying Birds, yeah.
And with the boiler suit and the hat,
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah, and that was Mark 1, and then Mark 2 he's kind of evolved since then, because it was, you know, I think there was a lot of songs left over from Oasis, Record Machine and Stop the Clocks and stuff, and then all of this, I'm such a Oasis geek, because I used to listen to the leaked sound checks and stuff, and I'd be singing at the top of my voice during these house parties we were just talking about. And when they eventually came out on the first album, I was just like, found. Do you know what I mean? And it's really interesting to see how the band has evolved and how you and, you know, the rest of the girls that were brought to the band and his sound, you know, Black Star Dancing, for example, you know, it's really come on leaps and bounds, and it's which is really interesting considering that, you know, when I heard that he was doing a solo album, I had a few friends that was in Black Barn, Weller's place, and Noel was also doing the Androgynous Amorphous project, and I was privy to hearing a little bit of that,
really?
and it was just so out there that I couldn't fathom, you know, you know, and I'd heard Falling Down, you know, and those remixes, and then when I heard that they were recording Stop the Clocks, I was like, how can you do Stop the Clocks and be recording it? And then it came out that he was actually doing 2 albums, you know, and it was supposed to be an accompaniment, or but yeah, you know, you guys bring so much more to the band now, and I think it's almost like a celebration watching the gigs now, you know, with the ticker tape and All You Need Is Love. It's so much of a nicer vibe and completely different from Oasis, which I feel really works.
Well, I think that's partly because everyone said it, that they feel like having the girls has really softened everyone, and made everyone feel happy and like they have to be on their best behaviour kind of thing. But it's made them feel like I've witnessed everybody opening up more. You know, from when I first met Noel to now, he seems like a different person.
He seems really,
it
really
looks
happy
like a family.
now.
Just flicking through that book there, it actually looks like a family. We were saying that it doesn't look like the kind of
it looks like
crazy
really good
days.
vibes.
It looks like
nice.
positivity.
It's really nice. You know, there's always the banter and the piss taking and stuff, but it's lovely.
Of course. He could be a comedian now. He's super duper kind of.
Hilarious.
It's also a testament that he's an artist as well. He's evolving. He's not sticking around the same place. He's growing, and you know, and he's showing himself as the evolution of him. You know,
definitely.
Every great artist.
And going back to the 10,000 hours thing, he's obsessed with music. I love hearing stuff that he talks about in the press, and I was just thinking, how do you even get there? And he, you know, and you can tell that he really, really delves into lots of different bands, and you know, hence why he's such an accomplished songwriter.
Takes everything in.
Chemical colours, isn't it?
We went
Let
to,
Forever Be.
We went to
Or Setting Sun.
Yeah, well, we went to. Gav came over to Spain when we did the Mad Cool Festival.
Oh yeah, cool. That was good, wasn't it?
Mad Cool. Gav came over. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, and it was really nice actually. We were there with Aeneas, Noel's daughter. Lewis Capaldi was there.
Yeah, I heard. But that's when they finally
and also,
met.
what a lovely guy. We were there with him.
Oh really? Yeah.
Such a nice guy. And
how did that go down?
It was just like they were just.
Come on,
really
let's
nice
hug it out.
They were literally. That's what it was.
But that's why it's always banter in the press, and you know, and it's just the nature of media that kind of hype it up, and it, you know, and I watched some of it because he's really active on stories, and you know, he was like, what a day, man! I've had Noel Gallagher dig me out, like I've made it. You know what I mean? It's just like.
What I really like about him, he's just really normal. He's got no ego. He's really lovely. He's really funny.
Is this Noel or Lewis?
This is Lewis, and he's being really true to himself.
Yeah, he is.
And there's no bollocks. I really respect him for that.
I think there's a certain degree of truth in what Noel said though, like about him enjoying the 15 minutes. I don't think in terms of songwriting,
don't give him a minute.
Hating, but in terms of songwriting, I don't see him having the kind of career that Noel's had. Do you know what I mean? That's
no, of course. But it's a completely different.
In terms of ego, he hasn't got any. I think he appreciates that he's having a good time.
That's
it for what it is. Do you know what I mean?
He's a particular type of artist. That's the way it is. And he's in the world that we're in. You know.
But but also
I mean that's
and he's not pretending though that he's. And actually, I quite like what I liked in a way was that thing where he came on stage as Liam.
Yeah.
At Glastonbury.
He's having a laugh, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's having a laugh. He's having a whale of it, of course.
It's caught in it, isn't it? Because that's what Noel did. That's what Jay-Z did when Noel was like, we can't have a hip hop at Glastonbury, and he came out in the wig and stuff. And then, so that's where he pitched the idea from. So that's where So he came out as Liam and undid his pop, and he had the Noel T-shirt on in a big heart. So it was just like
he's having a blast. Because talking creatively in his music, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, because there was like a video intro of like Noel saying what he said, you know, in the interviews. It was all like chopped up.
Capaldi fan?
Yeah. Give him his 5 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever.
But there's no, like you said, there is no ego with them. I think that's what's so appealing, because so many people are so, especially in like terms of like social media, you just get, like you were saying, going behind the scenes with the stories and that. I think that's a really cool idea. Yeah. Because otherwise you just get given this product.
Yeah.
And it's like this
I've been
image.
saying that to you for how long? The power of content is king.
I know.
You know, attention is no currency.
That's the world
And it's
we're
like
in,
wherever
man.
people's eyes are,
That's what we're
you know, we've these devices, you know, we've got our eyes on these devices more than we have TV now. You know, radio, podcasts, for example.
Even people,
you know,
They're saying that we're cyborgs now because we're so intrinsically linked to like this.
That's it,
But
man. I mean,
I
we're
also-
living in a world of content.
but I
That
also
is it.
feel like-
more is more.
I'm not sure if I like it or if I agree
know.
with it.
You have to adapt. You have to evolve or be extinct.
I like quality and well
Do you know
done
what I miss?
stuff.
I miss being a kid and waiting outside HMV for an album.
Yeah,
Being
be here now.
Man, I'm down with you, man. And
come on.
like depth in the music,
And
you
we'll
know.
just take, you knew you
a
weren't
journey
going to get another
in the
album
music.
for another year, so you're going to pour over that. Whereas now it's like
that was
you see a song and you go, brilliant. What else you
that
got?
was a defining
You're listening
era.
to
That's why I've
McDonald's.
got
You're
the-
listening to McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
It
And
sounds
then
like
the
the
album-
taste of McDonald's.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
The
That's
day that
exactly
came
what
out,
the world
I
we're in,
was
man. And that's
big.
what
due to pick up
people
my
jump up
GCSE
and
results.
Yeah, I mean, you got fucking it.
Instead of my GCSE
Where was
results,
yours?
81.
John
Yeah,
generation.
He went
Yeah,
and bought-
mate,
He
that's-
went and
that's
bought
the
that
world
album
we're in,
instead of
man.
getting his GCSE results.
Yeah,
Really?
outside HMV.
Man.
Yeah, and hence
Yeah,
why it's
exactly.
in my thing. It was just like I wasn't
that's
really
what it's
interested
about.
in school, you know. And once I discovered Oasis, you know, the first four songs off of, well, first 3 songs off of Morning Glory. I remember writing love letters to my 14-year-old girlfriend, you know,
Yeah.
and then hating Hey Now. I found that a little bit weird. and then the rest of the album's fantastic, you know. And then by that time I was like fully fledged. I had the haircut, I
I
had the
was
Man
the
City
same.
shirt.
Yeah.
I went like all in. You know, and it was just so empowering. You know, it was just like, you know, these the shit kickers from a council estate that were taking on the world. And
That's
again,
so
you know, this is
powerful.
the emblem before they kind of had, you know, this is Brian Cannon. So this is what it was before it was the original one. Again, it's like,
Right, yeah.
so it's like a little, you know, to say what Oasis can achieve. You know, anyone can go out and do
Mate,
that.
I mean,
if they-
that's the thing. It was a movement as well.
Yeah.
It's like anything after 2000s, doesn't seem like there's any
Yeah,
kind of
the only
movement.
band
I
that
suppose-
could
I
have
suppose
done that was
Stormzy
the
and those
Arctics.
guys.
The first album that the Arctics had was amazing. I was like, oh my god, they're onto. I don't know
There was
what
still not a
happened.
movement. That's not. There wasn't
No,
no movement,
but they had
man.
the songs that, you know,
They had the
and
song.
then I
They
think
had the
he
sound.
felt like he had to evolve into a like an artist, and he
Yeah.
kind of lost himself.
Yeah.
He started coming with an LA accent, and I was just like,
Yeah.
all of your target audience that you captured during that first album, talking about, you know, tracky bottoms tucked in socks and hacket tops, and that related to the exact same kind of captive market of Oasis. You know, and we are waiting for that band again, and this is where I think, you know, Lanes could potentially be it.
I
you know,
definitely think that that's the ethos, or that was the ethos behind the idea, was that it would be a proletarian, socialist
I'll have to check them out,
revolution. But
Yeah.
by the same token, like there's no accounting for sort of, like you say with Alex Turner or with Noel, like you have to move in a direction wherever it takes you. Do you know what I mean? If Noel could quite easily have just sat back after Oasis and gone, well, why the fuck? But he's still got the creativity.
He'd
coming
never
out
do
of
it because he's too obsessed with music.
Yeah.
He's obsessed.
The Chemical Brothers.
Oh yeah,
man,
this Chemical
he just,
Brothers
he'd
gig.
like a sponge, mate.
Yeah.
So all the crew and everyone was like
Sponge.
dancing up at this rave. Noel just stood there and watched.
Solid.
Yeah.
Just took
I
it
took
all
it all
in.
in.
It was like it was
Wow.
like a machine.
Like
absorbing
literally, like
everything.
downloading it.
Just downloading it.
Yeah.
Just going,
Yeah.
what's making this work? What it, it's almost you could see his brain ticking over.
Yeah, he's
absorbing
just
it,
like,
going,
yeah,
how's
this is
working. How can I apply this to what I do?
Yeah.
You know, I've no idea what he was doing, but that's what it
Architect.
seemed like he was doing.
Architect.
It was
Yeah.
actually it's really inspiring being around him because he always thinks in such a positive way. Never let's say for example we had this gig in Amsterdam and the crowd were shit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You can say that.
They were shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking hot as well.
Amsterdam.
It was
Probably all had
to,
sunstroke.
to be fair, they probably all had. It was really hot. They probably
Oh
had
really?
sunstroke, yeah.
Oh.
But the
It
vibe
blazed
was
as well.
dead. I mean,
Yeah, that dehydration.
Yeah.
It was a really difficult gig, yeah. But it, you know, and Noel was like, oh, that was shit. But like I said, we were talking about it was always fucking shit.
Yeah.
But it didn't get him down in any way.
No.
Just like, right, next, what's next?
Yeah.
And he just
Something
takes
to be
things
taken
on.
from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes
It's a
things
lot.
on and he just
And on to the next one.
sees the positive in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason he's up
Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
What is the reason why he's so? Why, in terms of like songwriting over the
He always
course
writes
of the
about
last
hope.
30.
Yeah, no,
They're always
there is a
he's so
theme. There's
non-committal
like
about
lots
his
about the
lyrics,
weather.
like, he's never going to tell you what his lyrics are about
It is.
because he wants you to.
And it's really interesting. What I've noticed over the years
even
is,
if he did, you wouldn't you'd still interpret them a different way compared to when where you listen to them, what you was going through.
Yeah,
you know, it's art.
Life.
Art, it has a context for everyone. You know.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed throughout the years are some of the demos that we've got hold of, and then the lyrics have been quite negative. However, when the final release comes out, it's all been rewritten. So to you know, Hope and Hindu positive. Times was one of those. It was like quite heavy and hard hitting. It was, you know, the ghost that is my soul, it leaves you cold. And you know, and then he completely flipped that around. And when it came out, it was quite a joyous and uplifting
What was
song.
the change in the lyrics? Do you remember?
The ghost that is your soul, it leaves me cold, babe. That was the original, the demo, and then it was I can't think. I'd need to Google it. Yeah. But he completely rewrote it.
Sort of talk about saying higher powers as well.
Yeah.
He never sort of. I watched this fascinating thing about him talking about God as well, and he wouldn't commit to that. He committed to the idea of hope and all the rest of it. Yeah. I think that's big as well. When you're talking about like, symbolism within lyrics or giving people an idea as to what to aspire to, some of his lyrics you just.
But then there was, you know,
man. Like,
but then there was growing up. You know, it was, you know, the church kind of expected his mum to stay in this difficult environment, and hence why they both had quite a negative view of religion per se. Yeah. But you know, regarding spirituality, he says, you know, he calls it going fishing, where he's constantly just on the guitar, putting in those hours, those 10,000 hours of always turning up at the well and waiting. And he says all the best ones fall out of the sky.
That's what he says,
and I just find that so fascinating. You know, the universe. You know what I mean? Without talking about it,
if you open yourself up for the universe to deliver, it will deliver.
Yeah.
You know?
How about songwriting for you guys? How does it work?
It's
mixtures.
Is it like completely different at different
It can be,
times
because obviously we do it together. Sometimes we write separately, but if we write together, because obviously there's two people and there's this dynamic of us being married, and everything, we're really honest and open about things. Yeah. You know, it can be a longer process because somebody could get in the way of a creative streak, like, oh yeah, that's shit, oh that's too commercial, oh that's that, or whatever. So it can take a longer time, but having said that, sometimes some songs are just like really quick. Like we've got a song called Postcards.
Yeah, that was the one. Postcards.
Oh, right,
yeah.
And that came quite easily.
It's quick.
It was really quick. I think we did that in like an hour or something.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
Yeah, but normally I might sit at the piano and come up with like a.
And that's where you do most of your writing, on the piano.
Yeah. I write totally different songs if I write on the guitar.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
More melody driven on the piano, would you say, rather than chord based, or?
Yeah, I think so.
And what comes first, the music or the melody, and then you feel the
melody? Yeah. And then I'll come up with lyrics.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Do you contribute to the lyrics, Gav, or is that Jess's the most?
Me, yeah. I kind of.
You're good with lyrics.
Chip in here and there. You know.
Gav's more left field with what he likes than me.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite a strange combination.
I write really weird shit. So it's like it's quite difficult to kind of put it in the box of what we do.
But it definitely but then I think your edge on it gives it something else that I wouldn't write.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I'd like to put a bit more of that in at some point. Maybe the next album or next EP, just take it a bit more psychedelic, a bit more kind of trippy. I love that world. But we'll see what happens.
See like the Motown in your stuff.
Yeah.
I really love that. I grew up on Motown.
Yeah, no, same man. I love that world too.
Beautiful, like soulfulness.
Yeah.
Distinctly lacking these days when you see like certain artists and it's just a vocoder and you're like,
I know. I know.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. But, you know, that time as well, it's just about, you know, people that love music, great musicians, great singers, just getting together and having a great
with
time.
Each other and
that's the thing, man. I mean, there was a thing called the Gospel Mile, and it just like had all the venues up this mile strip, and all the artists would kind of do all the different venues, and they just cross over between all the different venues.
How cool is that? What a time!
And it was like this was before you made money out of music. Yeah. So there's no other reason you're doing music apart from love, passion,
well, this
joy.
Is what I wanted to ask now. Is like musicians like returning to that sort of troubadour.
It's kind of beginning, man. It's kind of beginning
where you have to be a job in, like,
the money isn't as big as what it was, and it's like, okay, it isn't, and it's like, but at the same time, it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, back in this, like, peak of the 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
80s, 90s.
Yeah.
You know, there's serious money,
Yeah.
private jets and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of got rid of the creativity in a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they had nothing to write about. Because their
Yeah,
life was
just-
joyful and wonderful.
yeah.
What are you going to write about?
No angst. There's
How are
no
you going to
conflict,
relate to the
there's no-
people on the streets? How are you
no,
going to relate?
no storytelling.
Yeah,
That's
you-
actually
you
why
know.
Noel still writes great songs, because it's like he's still in touch with his old life.
Yeah.
For sure,
In some way.
he's still
Yeah.
he's
It
there.
doesn't
man.
seem
A lot of his
particularly,
songs,
like, exuberant
especially-
person in terms of like finance and all the rest of it. It doesn't seem
No.
as though like
No.
He's not really
seen that,
flashy.
no, it's not. It doesn't
No.
seem flashy. That's the word.
No.
It just seems.
Yeah.
Grounded.
Yeah.
I mean, his
Morals in the
mum
right
still lives in
place,
the same
man.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
I love that.
Moral.
I
Yeah,
know.
and all she wanted was like a fence.
I know.
Yeah,
It was like
that's
amazing.
great.
Because they
That's-
bought her a
love that.
house.
Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's like music. I think music is starting to come back because it's a lot harder now. You can't just go and get a deal. You got to go and put the hours in. You got to
Yeah.
go and
You
put
do.
the,
You have to
You
show
need to
them
get
you
your
the
own fan
numbers.
base, don't
Build
you?
your
And
own
you have to
fan
like,
base
oh, you
before
know,
anyone
It's what's so
cares.
hard.
you know, it's not even
Labels are
about
just
followers
looking at
now.
that.
It's you know,
It
it's all,
kills me,
all about interaction and how engaging
Yeah.
your audience.
And
even-
And,
And
Even
label
then
just
it's
go
not.
through
Yeah.
it, like, go, all right, they got numbers.
Yeah.
Let's go and just.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I buy
yeah.
those quite easily. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what kills me. I remember back in the day when I had aspirations to be a musician, and I went and saw Debbie. Actually,
Yeah.
funnily enough, and she said like the first thing that the label will do is look at your numbers, and it kills me when I can see quite easily that a band with 10,000 likes
Yeah,
doesn't
it's-
have any interaction, and you're like,
No.
you're working on bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Variables.
Yeah,
there,
so
like,
you're
it's
right.
not
So there's like
viable.
there's kind of the different categories now. There's the people that love music, that make music, you know, that are not very good at media, but you've got to find them. You've got to go and
Yeah,
find
yeah,
them because they're out there. There's some amazing bands out there doing great music, but they haven't got the media. And then like you got the ones with the numbers, which you can generally they just sound like numb. You
Yeah.
know, it just make you feel numb, and like you come away with nothing out of it. You listen to it and go, I think I just wasted some time. You know what I mean? The same as
Yeah.
you eat
I'm never going to get those 3 minutes back.
yeah, you eat at McDonald's or something like that. You
hungry
got no
again.
nutrition.
Yeah.
You got nothing that's going to help your body. You just
No.
believe something happened.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened, but something happened.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's
interesting.
the the majority of that world
Fast
is that.
food music.
And
It
they're the
is,
ones that are getting
yeah.
signed. They're the ones that are getting put money.
Yeah,
in.
but who's
Yeah.
but that's the thing.
The
there's
new
people
rock and
in
roll is
charge.
grime.
Yeah,
New
but
rock and roll is grime,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. But where's that going to go? Because
Yeah.
you know, what's the evolution of that?
No.
Really, you take
Yeah.
away the beats, and then you just got guys talking
then-
about the streets.
yeah,
And
the
you
lyrics
change
of
the
them,
beats underneath, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe. But it's the beats that kind of define the sound, is it, or is it what they're talking about?
I don't know. I
for
mean, I
me-
think there's a lot of disillusioned youth that can relate to what they were going
Yeah,
through.
definitely.
A lot like Oasis, where
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
about
it's definitely the first
going out,
movement,
having a
I
good
would say,
time, and
since-
Yeah.
where it is changing. It is quite.
Yeah.
I'm petrified of my kids going to secondary
Honestly.
school
Yeah.
because they are,
They've got a lot to
especially
deal
in
with.
North London, they're all
They've got a lot
stabbing
to
each
deal
other.
with,
So
yeah.
my thing is, I'm
Let's get
making
out.
some money, and I'm heading for the hills.
It's definitely the first movement in a long time.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what
Gone on.
It
And
is.
people are
You
following
know-
and actually listening and believing, and they want to they relate to it.
Stormzy doing Glastonbury.
Yeah.
So, that was in a
Yeah.
Banksy
Yeah.
Yeah,
Union
well,
Jack.
it's cool, yeah.
It was up there with one of those moments. And
Yeah, yeah.
where apart from Liam and Noel, Mick and Keith, where are the icons? Coldplay,
Yeah.
massive band. Chris Martin, lovely guy, but there's no fucking.
No.
I don't want to be
Kinda
Chris
lost
Martin.
it,
Do you
man.
know what I
It's
mean?
Like Parachute's great,
Yeah.
And then it's like eventually I was just
Yeah,
slowly
just
kept
a bit-
on. Great songs.
Yeah, don't
but
make you feel anything.
don't feel anything.
Yeah, it's
after a
like
while.
elevator
It's like-
music.
like, come on, man. It's
Trouble
like, yeah.
was really good.
I wonder how
Yeah.
much of that is because
Watch
you're
that-
sitting
listen
on
to
such
that
a
on
lot
the
of
come
material
down.
whilst
Oh.
you're waiting for your break, and you've just been honing those particular songs, and then when it all happens for you, you're like, oh fuck, man, I need to come up with another
Yeah.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
make
well,
the cut,
stay in
you
the
know?
light, mix and do work with the most current people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But that's
man.
what
I don't
Ed Sheeran's
understand it
done
because
really
I'm not
well,
there,
hasn't
so I
he?
don't know
Just
what's
released
going on.
basically a collab album, and he's, because he does like an album cycle and he kind of disappears off
Yeah.
the face of the earth, and the next
Yeah.
thing he's got this fantastic album,
Well, the thing is,
And he started in Camden as well, the Monarch, who
Yeah,
used to,
Monarch.
do gigs there, not even in the venue, but outside the venue to fans that were coming out, and it was SBTV that really
Yeah, I
launched,
remember that.
and that's
Yeah.
like an
Eben
internet.
Devlin as well.
Yeah,
doing bits.
and that's and this is where the internet age started to kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I was going to say about Instagram was, and how obviously people take notice of people that have got lots of followers.
Mhm.
The flip side of that is it drains your
Battery.
Definitely.
Your internal battery.
It does drain your internal battery.
Yeah.
You feel, I mean, I know I'm always on Instagram, but it's partly because, you know, I want our band to work.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to be there.
You have to have a presence.
You have to do it.
That is your shop window.
But I also come from the generation before, so I've had to really push myself to do it.
Of course.
It didn't come naturally to me.
Yeah.
But now it does, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And
practice.
Yeah, but it's exhausting.
I
It's exhausting.
bet, because you're always giving.
Yeah,
you're always sharing,
you're always
you know.
sharing and thinking, oh, what should I share? Oh, I need to do that. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
I found that social media was kind of tweaking my thought processes, and
Yeah,
I was more concerned about how
course.
people were going to
Definitely.
perceive what I was thinking about, rather than just having free thought.
Of course.
You know what I mean, I'm thinking, I don't make a good status.
Yeah.
And it's in the world so PC now as well, and it's like, what can I say?
Yeah.
Is there anything
like
I can say? I don't know, man. Maybe it's better to be mute. You know? I just mind my shit.
I don't know if it's a good social media. It's a good thing or a
people
bad
go to
thing,
gigs
but
now and then just film themselves at the gigs, just like, look at me having such a great time.
There's stories about people going to the gym, just a quick selfie, walking back out.
There's
vanity.
people hiring private
metrics.
jets. They just literally, there's companies now. You can hire a private jet, just go in,
15-second
and just take some 15 seconds in there, do some Instagrams, and then leave.
I can't fathom how I see other people's Instagram and I'm like, so you're walking around with a photographer like all day, basically. Like, what the fuck? Who's got the time? Like, who's got the money? Like, I don't understand how these people work.
And where does it
Fair
end
enough,
up?
selfies and that, but like, people walking down the street. It's culturally, like, things have shifted an awful lot.
Massively.
But there is opportunity at the same time as.
Well, this is
it.
Joe.
It is the opportunity. You have, you know, if you are good enough, the
strange.
market decides. You don't need to go to a record company now.
Yeah.
You can just put out content, and if you're good enough, you'll get the traction.
Yeah.
You know, like the Arctic Monkeys, they were an underground band, and they were knocking out these Tales from the Board from under. No, Tales from the Board. That's an Oasis bootleg. But there was a EP that they were knocking out at their gigs, and it was really this underground hype, you know, and it was you were cool if you knew who the Arctic Monkeys were before
They came
you know, the first single came out, and it was like a massive
though, like in terms of, because now I'm seeing people like just disaffected on the internet, where they'll see things that they like and they won't even like it for the sake of liking it. Do you know what I mean? That would become so desensitized. Just used to good quality content, but we're not even differentiating between what we like and what we don't like anymore. So I don't know if that sort of, where you say that the market will decide whether that still holds value, because so many people, even like, it's so desensitised. Like sometimes mums died,
it's also getting to a bit
love,
or
wow.
Can you voice your opinion when you don't actually like something? I mean, really don't like something.
I know, because someone will take offence to it. We're in this
going to take offence,
yeah.
and then you're going to lose likes, and you're going to lose numbers. So what do? You know,
you need to be true to yourself. You know, if you're appeasing your audience,
but that's the problem.
Writing songs,
when you start doing that, then you just
think they're going to like it.
It's kind of nothing. So it's best to go and offend in some way, I guess.
So.
You know.
At least that's something to say.
It's not about offending, it's just about being true to yourself.
Being true to yourself and voicing your opinion, your real opinion, not the opinion that you believe people want to see or hear of you.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, actually have an opinion. You know,
rather than just renting one of someone else.
Do you know what I mean? What does that make you in the end? Eventually, you will turn into that guy, or
middle of the road,
or girl, or I don't know.
Going back to your music, we had a little chat beforehand. You said you've got a single coming out.
We've got a single coming out on the 9th of August.
Yeah, what's it called?
Fallen Angel.
Oh, amazing! You performing it tonight?
We're going to do it tonight. And I've actually, I was going to send it to you.
Yeah.
And the artwork and stuff. The artwork's been done by an amazing guy called Gareth Halliday.
Oh wow.
Who did Noel's All Knows.
Oh really? This stuff? Yeah, it's really some quick fire questions.
Go, do that.
Cool. So, favourite Oasis song?
Cast No Shadow.
Yeah, Gav.
Quick fire.
I know it is tough,
man. I can't.
I know it's like picking one of your best kids.
Things,
That is for me anyway.
I guess Champagne Supernova. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Bob.
Oh, Master Plan.
Oh, best B-side. I know it is tough, isn't it? There's so many. Mine's probably Acquiesce.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one that I'd ever want to see them do again. You know, if it ever was to happen.
I don't know. Next question.
Okay, say no more. Best gig you've played, either in Noel's band or
best gig. Probably. I really did enjoy that one in Spain.
Yeah, Korea looked lively as well.
Korea was pretty amazing.
South America's always bonkers, isn't it?
To be honest though, nothing beats, doing Wembley Arena.
Really?
Well, it's just it's my home turf.
Yeah, and then you got your family and friends.
That's quite
to be
special.
able to say that.
I bet.
Yeah.
Have you done Royal Albert Hall?
No.
No.
No, I'd love to do
Yeah. I hope you do, because that's such a beautiful venue.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah. Best gig you've attended?
Ooh. Best gig. Paul Simon was pretty cool.
Yeah.
In Hyde Park.
I mean, I find it really difficult to kind of best or not on everything. I think everything holds its own experience, everything holds its own greatness.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say something's great or not great.
Of course.
You know?
Cool.
Gig you've enjoyed though. Right, next question. Gav hates questions.
Oasis or
I
Blur?
struggle. It's like
Oasis.
Yeah, Gav, Oasis or Blur?
shit.
Come on.
I mean, there's different reasons for each
Yeah,
band.
I
You
know.
know, they both hold the same. I mean, they equally balance each other out. At the time, they were both massive.
They were.
So yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Alright, maybe just don't ask Gav.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be here for hours, man.
Last night, just as a side thing, last night we went out
Yeah.
to get dinner, and it turns out in this place we went to get dinner, they were doing a pub quiz.
Oh wow.
Gav hates quizzes.
Oh.
And we just sat in a mood whilst
I was not in a mood. I was just sitting there, uninterested.
Okay.
Say no more.
Next question.
Beatles or Stones?
Beatles.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
Black or white?
Black.
So I would definitely say Lennon there, though.
Looks or personality?
Personality.
Spurs or Arsenal?
Arsenal.
City or United?
I've got to say City, or I'll just get completely
Crucified by the chief.
Yeah.
New York or LA?
New York.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Love or fear?
Love.
Peace or war?
Peace.
Jess, you've been a fantastic guest. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What are we finishing off with?
We're going to do a song of ours called Mr. Rain.
Real. Shall we take a step out?
Terrible with questions like that. It's like my brain
Come
does
on.
not work that fast.
Let's go.
Too many elements involved.
Let's go. Hello to tomorrow, you can wash away
day, never to return. And now we finally turn the page. So goodbye, Mr. Rain. Goodbye, Mr. Rain. Say goodbye, yesterday. Goodbye, Mr. Rain. Whoa, 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 whoa. Goodbye, Mr. Rain.
Hey, amazing.
Bangers.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thank
Nice
you.
one.
I look forward to seeing you at the gig later.
Yeah.
Nice to give you that bottle of
Oh,
champagne.
yeah. That's really
I'm not
nice.
sure what backstage is like, but we'll have a little glass later.
Oh, that's really nice of you.
Thank you so much
Oh,
for coming
thank
in.
you.
Bit dusty,
Oh,
but
look at that.
inside will be.
Oh.
It's a nice one. We don't.
Thank you.
We might talk a lot of shit, but we don't serve it.
That's really nice.